The Detroit Lions have some real dogs on the way to Michigan. And we talk about draft classes. You want to get a guy that fits your system, fits your culture. I think Dan Campbell got all of those guys with the draft picks he made in this draft. Now, I think the conversations are behind us, talking about value, running back in the first round, linebacker in the first round, all that's going. You know, it was nice for the mock drafts and all of those things of that nature, but it's time to play football now. Give me your best 11 versus the other best 11 and who's going to come out on top. Now, I'm going to start off with Jack Campbell. How does he come off to me? I think he gives me the vibe of a guy who's from a small city, but he's confident. And he's not going to be in your face about it. He's very to the point. And he's very serious about a lot of the things that he says. Now, he has some dry humor to him. He can be a funny guy, but I think that's the type of guy we want as our linebacker. You get along with a lot of people because it's not all seriousness with him, but he knows when it's the difference, when it's time to switch. And I could tell him talking to the media, he's kind of laid back just a little bit. And he's not doing too much when he's answering these questions, talking to these guys. But when he gets on the football field and when there's certain questions about football, we can see the seriousness. The jokes go away, and that's his demeanor. Jahmyr Gibbs is one of those same guys to me. And Jahmyr Gibbs, I could tell he doesn't talk a lot. And he's not going to talk a lot. He even said it himself in the post-draft. When he's talking to his guys, he's talking to the reporters, interviewers, and he's basically saying, I'm not going to say anything. I'm the type of guy, I don't care if you throw me the ball, hand me the ball off, I just want the ball, but it's not about me. I'm a team guy, and if we're winning, that means I'm getting the ball, because he's one of those electric players, and he's going to be a key to that success, to that top 5 offense, trying to replicate that type of season again this year. But I mean, this draft class, now I want to talk about Sam LaPorta and Jack Campbell kind of the same. Didn't know, but I just found out they were roommates in college for a couple years. So we're bringing that in. 2 guys who were teammates, were roommates, and they're going to be battling against each other. Jack Campbell's probably going to have to cover LaPorta a little bit. He's probably going to have to get after him in the run game. So that's the type of bond, and we're really building a family-like thing. Now, Jahmyr Gibbs talking about Sam LaPorta, he said he's a little bit bigger. He's explosive. Didn't watch a lot of Iowa, playing at Alabama. You can't watch that much of another team's film, but he's just thinking about it. You see this guy, Sam LaPorta, and his size, about 6'3", 250. We get him on the football field. He's moving like this. I think he has a shot out of all of these tight ends, talking about Michael Mayer, Dalton Kincaid. I think he has a shot to be one of the most productive of that group. Now, as we get into the other guy, I know a lot of people want to talk about it, Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker, I mean, he has to be the guy. Now, it may not be this year, and that's perfectly fine. Jared Goff has earned the right to get us a starting spot and remain that starting spot. Passing for the yards he did, the touchdowns, keeping down the turnovers. It was just a great season offensively for Jared Goff, and kind of a bounce back year, after he got moved out of Los Angeles. But Hendon Hooker just strikes me as that guy I want in my room. I want to go to war. He's one of those type of players. I don't got to question him. And he can't even practice right now fully. He's doing a couple of throws after practice, things of that nature, but he can't get his full force of motion. So that's messing with his footwork. That's messing with his drop back, driving the ball down the football field. He can't do all of that yet. But he said he called up one of his teammates the day of the draft. As soon as you get drafted, you're supposed to be celebrating with your family, popping bottles, things of that nature. Hendon Hooker calls a guy, and he's asking for the formations. He wants to learn the playbook. That's the type of player we got with Hendon. And I'm getting hyped up as I'm saying this, as I'm thinking about it, because that's who I want in my war room. Hendon Hooker, we just drafted you, son, and you're in here want to learn formations. We haven't even touched the football field yet. So I just thinking about him and Ben Johnson, what they want to do. They want to run the football. They want to get play action and throw the ball deep. You got those weapons. Jameson Williams going to come back after the suspension. But I'm just thinking about it. He's going to be great in this system. And I don't know when his time is going to come. But I do think after Jared Goff, I think he's the guy that gets the next shot. And I believe that's pretty fair to say. I think if you move off of Jared Goff, you don't go draft another guy or try to get a free agent quarterback. I think Hendon Hooker is that developmental guy, and he's next in line. So it's just all a matter of when with him. But he's just talking, and he wants to know the plays. He's being a sponge. He's asking questions, talking with Ben Johnson, all of these guys. He wants to know everything. So when he hits the football field, only thing that he's catching up is his physical. His mental is already on point. He's already clicking. I know who's aligned here. I know who's running this route. I know where he's at. I know what my drop has to be. I know what reads. I can progress through the entire field because I've seen it. It's all in the mind. In the physical, we know he has the arm talent. Now, I think he was undersold a little bit during the draft process, talking about his age and things of that nature. Hendon Hooker is a good quarterback, and I believe without the injury, he goes first round. Now, bringing him into this offense, he's going to have to work on getting down. And they talked about it in the interview with him, sliding, protecting himself a little bit more because he's a physical guy. And that's kind of the guy you want in your room, but not at your quarterback. You don't want your quarterback trying to truck people and not wanting to get down. So he's going to have to work on that. And I think the ACL injuries kind of unfortunately helping him with that. In a way that he's learning, okay, if I keep doing this, if I keep going the way I'm going, this is where it's going to have me. Best ability is availability. And I think he understands that now. So I want to touch on Brodric Martin, defensive tackle, interior lineman. I liked a lot of the things he said too. And he was basically saying, look, I came from a small school. I don't care. I want to get on the football field. I want to learn from the guys in front of me. I'm looking at Fletch and some of these other interior linemen. I'm trying to learn the game, and I'm trying to play immediately. Talking about day one versus the Kansas City Chiefs. He said he wants to be on the field. It's not, he doesn't want to wait. Now, I don't think anything bad about that. There's nothing wrong with the player saying he doesn't want to wait. He wants to play because I believe he has the mindset to go out there and earn that. And, he talked about it. He said since the age of 5 years old, he's been praying, talking about the fact that he wants to make it to the NFL. And he still can't even believe it. He said he got to his locker room. He's shedding a couple of tears. He's thinking about all the things that he's been through and his college journey. It didn't look so promising at first. But to get that call from Dan Campbell, said he went earlier than he believed he would go. But, he's a Lion now. And you got to love that. Now, Brian Branch, guy I'm gonna end it off with. Shout out to Sorgel and Antoine Green. Those guys too. Watch their interviews a little bit. Some pretty solid guys who I think can be impactful. But Brian Branch, and the thing with him, he's talking about, now this got me pumped up as well because these guys are just wired like you want them to be wired. And I think Dan Campbell, even Brad Holmes, put a lot of emphasis on that. Now he's talking about because he didn't practice, and not 100% sure why he didn't practice, probably dealing with a minor injury, but he's basically saying, I'm mad that I didn't practice. You get better every day that you practice, and I didn't practice today, so I didn't get better today. Those words right there, those words got me hyped. Him and Hendon Hooker, they knocked it out of the park. And then we got Jack Campbell and Jahmyr Gibbs. They're going to say things, and we're going to understand it, and we have to listen to them. Now, it's not going to be in a loud tone, or it's not, I'm always trying to talk. I'm always trying to get points across. I'm to the point. I'm going to say this. I want you to get out my face. Now, I'm not saying Jack Campbell's like that, but it's basically, we know it's all business. Just with Jahmyr Gibbs, it's all business. I want to play football. I'm going to tell you a couple of things that you want to know, and then we're done with it. But Brian Branch, to close this thing out, really loved a lot of the things he said. He just wants to play football, and he said it when we talking about, because he played a lot, primarily, mostly all of his plays were at nickel for Nick Saban at the University of Alabama. But he's saying, if Aaron Glenn wants me to play safety, wants me to play nickel, I could do both of those things. So that's interesting to hear with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. How can those two coexist? And Chauncey Gardner-Johnson can also help Brian Branch because for New Orleans, nickel. For the Philadelphia Eagles, a lot of safety action. So it's just a lot of those things. You have to feel excited about this draft class. These are some dogs. They got mindsets and they're ready to get after it. I'm going to leave you with that thought. And now we out.